WWE Universe. We are officially on the road to WrestleMania. Welcome to Faces and Heels. This is your podcast for professional wrestling here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and the Royal Rumble of 2026 has come to an end as the Royal Rumble took place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and we all know who will be headlining WrestleMania in both the men's and the women's side of the spectrum. We had 4 matches today, 4 taking place in the middle of the day. I hope everybody knew that and not looking for this premium live event to take place at night like it normally does, being as though it was in Saudi Arabia. It took place at 1 o'clock, at least central here in the United States, as we had the women's Royal Rumble match. We had the undisputed WWE Championship match. We also had a career on the line match and the men's Royal Rumble match. And, you know, let me start off by saying this. I think we all can agree that wrestling as a whole, not just in the WWE, but you can look at TNA, you can look at AEW, around the pro wrestling community stratosphere, that it has been suffering, man. It's been such a lull over the last couple of years when it comes to pro wrestling. And in WWE, you can kind of pinpoint the moment that it just took a nosedive. You know, it hasn't really excited, at least me. I'm only talking from my perspective here. I have not enjoyed pro wrestling like I used to. It could be because I'm getting older. Maybe I'm growing out of it. It only took 47 years to do it, but it hasn't been as exciting. And if you look on social media, no matter which platform you look at, I think a lot of people feel that way. It has not been that exciting in WWE. At least that's what we're talking about today. And you can pinpoint it probably back when WWE merged or was bought out by TKO. And it became this corporate giant that it is now. It's more pageantry than it is pro wrestling. It's more of a spectacle than it is pro wrestling. And now, granted, pro wrestling has always been a spectacle. That's part of the charm, part of the allure to it. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's more of a showcase than it is pro wrestling. You know, stories have been suffering. The wrestling has been all right, but it's been suffering for the most part as well. And now, I will say, NXT is probably the last real pro wrestling that I grew up on remembering, you know, because it's raw. It's kind of fresh in NXT. And I'm going to be completely honest here. It hasn't been delivering on all cylinders. You have some stars there, at least used to be, because all of the really good ones been called up to the main roster over the last few months. But overall, man, pro wrestling has not been exciting. And the build leading up to the Royal Rumble was not good. This has been the weakest build to the Royal Rumble in ever. As long as I can remember, I was not super excited for the Royal Rumble. And this is my favorite PLE. The Royal Rumble has always delivered. No matter what was going on, you can always count on the Royal Rumble to give you some excitement, some surprises, some out of the blue eliminations and things of that nature, setting up WrestleMania that's coming down the line and getting you excited for WrestleMania. Well, this year, I didn't get that. I didn't get none of that. Now, with that being said, I did enjoy the Royal Rumble Riyadh. I did enjoy this year's Royal Rumble for the most part, but still, I'm not like over the moon excited leading up to WrestleMania. Now we got a couple of months to get excited. Oh, actually, it's more than a couple of months. I think, it's in April this year again, huh? WrestleMania. And so we got a few months to get to WrestleMania. So in between that time, the build can get better and grow to the excitement. But right now, not super excited. But that's besides the point. We're looking too far ahead. Let's focus on what took place today in Riyadh. Let's focus on the Royal Rumble. And going into this, you had a few storylines to talk about, to kind of look forward to in this PLE. You had the undisputed heavyweight championship match between our WWE champion Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn winning the number one contender four-way match. 2 weeks ago? No. Yeah, 2 weeks ago at Saturday night's main event in Montreal, his hometown, only to challenge for the championship in Saudi Arabia, which is like his de facto home country, being as though he's a Muslim, and this is a country that backs him. And so that was exciting to a degree. So can Sami Zayn conquer the monster? Can he finally capture that championship that has been eluding him since he's been in WWE? Going up against an individual who he has never beaten. They have wrestled 11 times before we got to this match. This is the 12th time that they fought each other, and he is 0-11 against Drew McIntyre, but he is undefeated in Saudi Arabia. So one of the O's has got to go with it, and that was a really interesting storyline going into this. Even though I wasn't super excited, I'm not a huge Sami Zayn guy. I like Sami Zayn, loved him in the Bloodline, but I'm not like, oh man, he should be WWE champion. Now, if he ever becomes WWE champion, cool. I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't have been mad at it if he wins tonight, but I was like, I'm not a Sami Zayn guy like that, but cool. I'm interested in it. At least there's a story going into this match. Then you have the big one, in my humble opinion, for the Royal Rumble PLE today, and that was Gunther versus AJ Styles. And AJ Styles putting his career on the line against Gunther in this match. And AJ Styles made it no secret. He said that 2026 will be his final year in the ring. We thought, at least I thought, and a lot of people thought, that it was going to go deep into 2026. And I still stand by that after the results of tonight, but I didn't think it would come to this point where his career would be on the line tonight against Gunther. Now, Gunther has built the reputation of being somewhat of the career killer. He put down Goldberg in his final match. He put down John Cena in his final match. Will he put down AJ Styles? Well, everybody with a set of eyes and at least two of your five senses know that 9 times out of 10 Gunther was going to win this match. But I was hopeful. I was on the edge of my seat, hoping and praying that AJ Styles could pull it out. The two Royal Rumble matches, the women's and the men's, not too much there. Not too much excitement there on my end. I did not care who won won those two matches. I was more curious to see any surprise entries in those matches than who would actually come out pointing at the WrestleMania sign at the end. And so it like I said, my interest in the matches did not really get me there. Normally I did. Go back to the Attitude Era. And think about Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was a storyline when Stone Cold Steve Austin entered the Royal Rumble because he was fighting to get back to that championship that he lost, or whatever the case may be. And in other instances, we saw that as well throughout the years. You really didn't get a sense of that in this Royal Rumble. Whether it's the men's or the women, it wasn't none of that. You had little storylines in there, like in the women's, you had the Judgment Day, their beef with Rhea and Io and things of that nature. All that was there, but not like WrestleMania. We need to get to the main event to challenge for the championship vibe. And the same thing with the men's. Other than maybe Cody and Jacob Fatu, but even with that, Cody is really beefing with Jacob Fatu as opposed to trying to get back to Drew. And so I don't know who is really scrapping and scraping to get to the main event of WrestleMania like we used to feel. But that's neither here nor there. Let's jump into this recap. Let's jump into this PLE, beginning with the opening match of the PLE, and that was the Women's Royal Rumble match. And this is normally the match that steals the show. Normally the women steal the show in their Royal Rumble matches, at least the last couple of Royal Rumble matches. Well, not last year to a degree, but historically, since they've incorporated the Women's Royal Rumble, it has stolen the show, in my opinion, once again. And so I was excited. Okay, we're jumping off first. Ladies first. And our number one entry was Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair, she is the reigning Royal Rumble winner. She won it last year to a lot of people's chagrin, but she comes in at number one this year, and coming in at number two is her bestie, Alexa Bliss, who made her return last year at the Royal Rumble. Very awkward to have those two start off the Royal Rumble, and I was confused from jump, and it really just sucked all the joy out of the match going into it. I wasn't super excited at that point because I knew they weren't going to fight each other, even though there was some drama at the end between those two. But to start it off, it didn't work. That did not work. Now, it probably could have worked if the third and the fourth entry were a rival tag team, like Rhea or Io, or Roxanne Perez and Raquel. Now that would have been interesting, because you got two rival tag teams, and they're fighting each other in the first four entries into the match. But we didn't get that. Coming in at number three was Kiana James. And Kiana James had a good showing. She had a really good showing. And she didn't eliminate anybody, but she was rolling. She was rolling early on, taking on both Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair and holding her own. And she was in there a minute. She was in there a while. And good on her. Really good on her. Because she hasn't looked all that great on SmackDown, teaming with Julia, but this was a good outing to show that she's actually a threat in the women's division. And so it was a good showing for her. Nia Jax came in at number 4, and business picked up at that point. It started rolling at that point because it was a lull, those first 3 entries, because it was 2 against 1. It wasn't any one woman for themselves type feel. It was 2 against 1. Kiana James looked dominant, and then you have Nia Jax come in and just bolo all 3 of them. Ivy Now entered at number 5. Lola Vice entered at 6. Candice LeRae at 7. Jordan Grace entered at 8. And she's another one. She's one that I feel they kind of fumbling with her. I know it's early on. She just got moved up to the main roster, but Jordan Grace was a dominant force in TNA. And I mean, look at her. She she should be a dominant force. And she wasn't used well, I feel, in NXT. I don't think she ever won a championship in NXT, which is mind-boggling to me. But whatever. She gets to the main roster. We see that her and Jade Cargill is having a little back and forth beef behind the scenes there backstage, possibly setting up a championship match between those two. And so that made her kind of a dark horse pick to win it, to challenge for the championship against Jade Cargill. Okay, cool. But no, to no avail. To no avail. And then you have coming in at number 9, Becky Lynch. Pretty early for Becky Lynch. But I got it once the match went on, because she had to run through some of the participants that she's been beefing with, namely Maxine Dupree, who came in at 12, and Natty, who was right behind her. But it was interesting. But once she came in early like that, I really thought we was going to get another surprise entry. I'm going to save my disappointment predictions that didn't go over well at the end. But yeah, Becky Lynch came in at 9. So Ruka, who is, I don't know why she's still in NXT. She is over. She is ready. She is roster ready. And she proved it tonight. She came in at 10. Roxanne Perez at 11. Coming in at 12, as I mentioned before, Maxine Dupree and Natty at 13. She's not Natalia no more. This is Natty. This is the MMA just bulldog Natty, who is gonna rip people head off. I'm glad that they brought this version of her into WWE. I'm excited to see where they go with that. Coming in at 14, you had Liv Morgan. 15, Lash Legend. At 16, Zelina. At 17, Raquel Rodriguez. At 18, Chelsea Green. At 19, Julia. At 20, Io Sky. 21, you had Asuka. At 22, you had the Eradicator, Rhea Ripley. At 23, Bailey. At 24, a bit of a surprise. Didn't expect to see this one. JC Jane, NXT Women's Champion. At 25, you had Nikki Bella enter the fray, and she got a big pop that I did not expect. I was shocked by that pop she got in Saudi Arabia. At 26, you had Lyra Valkyria. At 27, Kiana James, another NXT talent. Not Kiana James. Keelan Jordan entered the fray. At 28, you had Kairi Sane. At 29, our big surprise, the one surprise in this entire Royal Rumble match, Brie Bella. Yes, Mrs. Danielson herself. She returned for the Royal Rumble. And at number 30, we had Tiffy time, Tiffany Stratton, rounding out our 30 women for this match. This the first half of this match was so boring. I did not enjoy not one part of the first half. It was slow, sloppy, botchy. It just was not exciting. The crowd was dead. Nobody was interested. It was just, I was to the point. I was ready to stop watching. I was to the point. I was like, man, this is typical WWE for this day and age. I am done. I am out. And then all of a sudden it just clicked. I want to say it literally around the midway point when Lash Legend came in, around when Chelsea Green came in, it started getting a little better. And the eliminations started happening a little more frequently. It wasn't so congested in the ring. It it was super, super exciting towards the end. You had some competitors that lasted longer than I thought, and some that exited pretty quickly. Too quick in some instances, but they were there for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's just to fill out the 30. But it was all right. The ending part of this match, the last half of this match, saved it from being the worst Royal Rumbles match of all time. And man, in the end, it came down to the final four, who were random. And you can look at all four women and say, okay, I can see them challenging. I can see this being their moment. And that's pretty much what you want in a Royal Rumble match when you get to the final four. You want to look at all four, whether it's the men or the women, and say, okay, I can see that. I can see where they throw a curveball at this moment. I can see this person winning. I can see the other one. This is what made it exciting at the end. And so that's why I say it saved it. Our final four was Sol Ruker. You had Liv Morgan, also Tiffany Stratton, and wait, who was the fourth one? Was it Raquel? Yeah, Raquel Rodriguez. Those were your final four. And Liv Morgan eliminated Raquel, which was a swerve. That was a swerve. They both Judgment Day. And so it's going to beg the question, what's next, man? How is that going to play out Monday night when these two are on Raw? But the final three, Sol Ruka, Liv Morgan, and Tiffany Stratton. I had a feeling it was going to be Liv Morgan. I thought Tiffany would be the one. I thought she would come in and challenge for the championship that she lost. We hadn't seen her since she lost that championship. I thought she would come back and challenge for that. But ultimately, it was Liv Morgan, our winner of the 2026 Women's Royal Rumble match. She will go on to WrestleMania to challenge for the championship of her choosing. And we all know it will not be Jade Cargill. She will be challenging Stephanie Vicaire. That will be our WrestleMania match for the women's championship. And so I am, I'm not shocked by that, but I am also happy that they went in this direction. Liv Morgan is, I don't know, man. It's funny to think that she is to this level now. I never saw her being a main eventer, a WrestleMania main eventer, when she came up from NXT, when she started out in, what was that faction she was in? I can't even remember now. But I didn't see her going nowhere because she was the little one, the little throwaway doll and the little prissy one. But now she is just a beast. She is one of the best women on the roster, hands down. I got to give her props. She was sorely missed when she was out injured, and this was a big moment, man, for her to come back from injury, that shoulder injury last year, and now here she is standing in the corner pointing at the WrestleMania sign. Big ups to her, the winner of the Royal Rumble match. The disappointing predictions that I had going into this, I thought we would get a return of Bianca Belair. I don't know what happened with this knuckle injury, because that's what she broke. It wasn't a finger. She broke her knuckle. And I think what happened was she went to have the surgery to repair it, and they fused it wrong or something like that. I forgot what article I read because I was curious. I'm like, what's taking so? It's a finger. And that's when I found out it was a knuckle. And then that's when I found out that the surgery went wrong or something like that. But she's been out since WrestleMania. That's when she broke it at WrestleMania last year. And I was hoping and praying and wishing that she returned for the Royal Rumble, but to no avail. But even with that, and just to go off on a little tangent here with her, even with the finger thing, she could still come and appear, huh? She could still come on camera and probably set up some things, some feuds or whatever, or be a mouthpiece for somebody in the meantime. But she has been incognito. I mean, secluded, bro. I don't know if it's a mental thing that's a little devastating to her mental health, and it can be, man. That especially if you get surgery and it goes wrong, it's devastating. So I don't know, but I'm praying that she does return soon because that's just another dynamic to this women's division that will just catapult this division to the stratosphere. It's already one of the best divisions in pro wrestling, but I want to see it grow even bigger than what it is. I mean, Naomi is out, but she's out with the pregnancy. So we know she's coming back soon, but at least after the birth, well, it'll be a couple of years. Now that I think about it, so we already missing her. We're missing Bianca, and I just thought that would have been a good element to add to this match. Another one who I was kind of hoping, it was a long shot, but I was kind of hoping AJ Lee. I thought AJ Lee would pop up in the Royal Rumble. AJ Lee has shown up only twice since her quote unquote return at WrestlePalooza and then at the Survivor Series, the War Games match. Haven't seen her since. I don't know if she was hurt or if the long break and coming back and it dawned on her like, nah, I really don't need this. Is it one of those things? But I was hoping to see her. I was also kind of banking on maybe seeing a Saraya, or who the WWE universe know her as Paige. I thought maybe she would return in this match, but no. This is who we got. Now, it's cool who we got. No surprises other than Brie Bella, who I don't know if she's permanent, if she's back for good to be with her sister. If she is, that's good because that'll give them something to do, to kind of build up the women's tag team division. And we see that they're focusing on that a lot more lately in WWE. So that's just another element to add to it, which is cool. But I doubt that she's back full time. I seriously doubt it. It isn't like her husband is going to come back. I don't see that happening either. But that was it. That was it for that. I didn't see anybody else returning. But as far as surprises, those were the only three that I was really hoping to see, but we didn't get to see them. All right, we move on to our second match of the night, and it was a career-threatening match. It is Gunther versus AJ Styles. This was a banger, and it wasn't even in question that it wasn't going to be. Gunther is one of the best professional wrestlers currently working today. AJ Styles is a legend, and those two put on a heck of a match. I was so happy with how that match went. It was clearly the best match of the night. Not even a question. Spoiler alert. I know we got two other matches to go, but this was the match of the night. Awesome match. You didn't really know, in the way the match was structured, produced, you didn't know who was going to win this match. All the way up to the very end, you did not know if it was going to be Gunther once again, putting a career down, a storied career down, or would AJ Styles continue on? Defeat Gunther, revenge all of the legends that he has retired. It was really, really exciting. I think AJ put on a clinic. I think Gunther once again just did Gunther. He did Gunther things, man. He was so good in this match. I really have no bad thoughts about this match. It's nothing that went wrong here. The story was told, and in the end, unfortunately, AJ Styles' WWE career has come to an end. And I want to put emphasis on WWE career because I don't think AJ Styles is done this year. I think he's gonna go to TNA. I think he's gonna wrap it up in TNA. Don't see him going to AEW. I don't know why he would go to AEW. I don't know why anybody would go to AEW. But in any event, TNA is probably where he's going to end up after this. And I think this was a way to kind of do that so he can wrap up his career there. If that's the case, I think that's my theory, of course, but I don't think he's done. I really don't think he's done, and he could end up in AEW, which just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But as far as WWE, that's it for him due to the outcome of this match. He didn't tap out. He definitely didn't tap out smiling like other people, but he went out. He went out. He was choked out by Gunther. He faked out the putting the gloves and the shoes in the middle of the ring, and that's what really convinced me that he's not done. He's going TNA because they kind of teased it in TNA's debut episode on AMC that he's going to be back in TNA. When him and Frankie Azaria had that little face-to-face backstage, and AJ Styles looked at the TNA title. He kind of glanced at it like, okay, I would take that back. And that kind of planted a seed there, even though Frankie Azaria ended up losing that match that night, and he's no longer the champion. But the title. And so I can see him going there. But we'll see. We'll see what the future holds for AJ Styles. But if he is truly retired, if that's it for him, I will say this. AJ Styles is hands down one of the greatest in-ring talents to have ever stepped foot in a wrestling ring. And I say one of. I'm not fueling a debate here. Oh no, Bret Hart is better and all this other stuff. I didn't say he was better than Bret Hart. I didn't say that. I'm just saying he's one of the greatest, man. Storytellers in the ring. Just go back and look at some of his TNA matches. WWE, he was a little toned down in WWE, but back in TNA, he truly is the man who put it on the map. He was the one thing that was consistently good in TNA through all of their horrible years in existence. In New Japan, he was awesome. And so my hat goes off to one AJ Styles. What a career. And what a career in WWE. He came, he debuted at the Royal Rumble, I think 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and he wraps it up at the Royal Rumble. So a good bookmark for him. We move on to the undisputed WWE Championship match between the champion Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, as I mentioned before, got the weight of the Muslim community on his back. at least in Saudi Arabia. He came in here with so much baggage, man, slaying this beast of Drew McIntyre, the one man he has never beaten, winning a championship that he has never won. A lot of story going into this. The match was fine. It was okay. It wasn't a bad match. It was a typical Sami Zayn match, and Drew McIntyre, he works well with anybody, big, small, whatever style, high flyer, ground and pound. That he can work with anybody. Drew is one of the most consistent wrestlers, man. He can work with anybody. I really have not seen Drew McIntyre work a bad match. Honestly, bro, he is that good. Him and Gunther, you can put them in a ring with anybody, and they work a good match. I mean, hell, when they worked a match against each other, when they fought I think in that triple threat match at WrestleMania with Sheamus as well. Best match of that WrestleMania. Those three went at it, bro. It was awesome. But this was a fine match. Decent match. Pretty much went the way I thought. No part of me thought Sami Zayn was going to win this match. No part. But I will give them this. They did give us a little drama, a little tension throughout that maybe Sami might pull it off. But it was gone pretty quick with me when Sami faked the back injury thing. When he started playing the back thing, I was like, okay, he's going to lose. He's going to lose because the excuse is going to be he wasn't 100%. And pretty much that's what it was. Drew McIntyre comes out victorious in this match and retains the undisputed WWE Championship. So we move on to the final match of the night, the main event, the men's Royal Rumble match. Once again, just like the women's, wasn't super excited. I was excited for some of the entries in this match, for some of the participants in this match, because I wanted to see just absolute carnage in this match. But it didn't really go that way. This was not the best Royal Rumble match. And let me say this. I don't I'm trying to say this without being offensive of anything, but this really showed, this PLE as a whole really shows that WWE does not need to make Saudi Arabia a priority. I get it. I get the money aspect of it all. I understand. But as far as the excitement of it all, the crowd is dead. The crowd is not into it like America would be into it. And once again, not trying to be offensive to Saudi Arabia. I have nothing against Saudi Arabia. I'm just looking at the presentation, the crowd that adds to it. It's that element that adds to the excitement. It wasn't there. Now, they popped for certain wrestlers. For a lot of them, really. They were into it, but they weren't into it like we would be into it, if that makes any sense. And so I don't know, man. I'm not looking forward to WrestleMania next year, let alone this year, but next year when WrestleMania goes to Saudi Arabia. It just, if it's going to be this tone from the audience, I don't care to watch it. It's just not exciting. It's not exciting. It doesn't amp up anything. But you had some entries in this match that I think if it was in the United States somewhere, this PLE, it would have got a bigger reaction. That possibly would have added to the gravity of this certain individual being in the match. But I didn't get that sense in this particular PLE. But with all that being said, at number one, you had Oba Femi. I was excited, and it made super sense to put him at number one. Why would you put Oba Femi at number one? To showcase. This is how you build stars. Triple H finally did something right here. They did the right thing. This is how you build stars. You put him at number one, have him last as long as he can, and eliminate as many as he can, and not only as many as he can, but who he eliminates. You know, if he runs the table with some top talent and throw him out the ring, okay, you done built him up, because this is the next big thing, man. Literally, he is the guy I think everybody universally wants to see main event WrestleMania. Don't have to be this year. We don't have to rush it. But in the future, he is the future of the WWE. So he enters at number one. Braun Breaker enters at number 2, which is setting up a really good collision between these two behemoths. But but we had an element in this entry. Before Braun Breaker could even get in the ring, we had a hooded masked figure come out and beat him half to death and curve stomps him. You hear Paul Heyman outside the ring screaming that it is Seth Rollins. We don't know who it is. We were saying the same thing when it was Austin Theory. We don't know who this masked figure is. Is it Seth Rollins? Most likely, but he didn't take his mask off or the hood off, so we don't know for certain. But I don't know, man. I don't know. They doing this too much. They're milking this hooded figure thing too much. We just saw this beat. We just went down this road. And so why are we going back to it? If anything, you should have just had Seth Rollins come out and beat him up. But we want to play this game, whatever. So now you have a broken Braun Breaker gets thrown in the ring by this hooded figure, only to be immediately eliminated by Obafemi. And so we didn't even get to see that match or that face-to-face beatdown between those two. A little disappointed with that, but I get it storyline wise. At number 3, you had Solo Sikoa, another big man. Want to see him face Obafemi, go face to face with him. And they had a good little back and forth for a while. Rey Mysterio enters the match at number 4. Rusev enters at number 5 and is immediately taken out by Obafemi. Obafemi took out all 4 of these men eventually. He took them all out. And look, I like Rusev. I liked him when he was in WWE the first go around. Went to AEW. He came back, but since he's been back, it's been horrible, bro. Aside from his series of matches with Sheamus, I don't know why he's back. I bet you he questioned. Well, actually, I don't think he questions because AEW was just as bad. They didn't know what to do. At least he's doing something, because AEW had him doing nothing. But it is horrible, bro. Rusev was a monster, man. He was the Bulgarian Brute, bro. He had a WrestleMania match with John Cena. I mean, he was at the peak Rusev day. He was something, man. He was up at the top. And here he is. I wouldn't even call him a mid-carder at this point. It's almost embarrassing. It is embarrassing. It ain't almost. It's embarrassing. I hate to see that for Rusev, but did like to see Obafemi just toss him out the ring. And coming in at number 5, we had Matt Cardona, who was also eliminated at that point by Obafemi. And good to see Matt Cardona. I don't know why I keep saying that, but back in WWE. Coming in at number 7, Damian Priest. Number 8, Javon Evans, baby. Good to see him in the Royal Rumble, to see how he can be showcased in this match. Coming in at number 9, Mr. Iguana. and number 9, it was weird, bro. It was weird. Triple A's on Mr. Iguana. I know WWE is high on him, and I know he's over in a lot of places. He wasn't in Saudi Arabia. Let's just say that. At number 10, Trick Williams, baby, the lemon pepper stepper. He enters the match. At number 11, Cody Rhodes. At number 12, El Grande Americano the second. The second version. The reason I say the second version, because at number 13, you have El Grande Americano, the first version, who looks like Chad Gable. He looks like the real El Grande Americano. I don't know. I think that's played out. I know it's over in AAA, the El Grande Americano gimmick, but it's time to let that go. At least for No, it's time to let it go because Ludwig Kaiser is a heck of a wrestler, and y'all got him doing this crap. And the same thing with Chad Gable. Same thing with uh oh my god, now I'm blanking on their names. Talibate and oh my god. Oh boy, he was Butch, but he went back to his original name. But anyways, you were wasting these guys. But anyways, that was your 12 and 13. Coming in at 14, our first surprise of the night, and it is none other than Powerhouse Hobbs. Oh, never mind. Royce Keys. He has changed his name over in WWE, former AEW Powerhouse Hobbs. Good to see him. Good to see him here in WWE. Had a pretty good showing as well in this match. Coming in at 15, Austin Theory. 16, Bronson Reed. At 17, Dragunov. At number 18, La Parka from AAA. Coming in at 19, Dragon Lee. 20, you had Logan Paul. At 21, you had your, I guess you could say surprise, because I wasn't looking for him to be in this match, because I hadn't heard from him in a couple of months now. It is none other than L.A. Knight. Yeah, he returned at number 21 and went straight at the Vision, who took him out for that period of time. At 22, you had Brock Lesnar. At 23, The Miz, wasted spot. At 24, you had Ray Phoenix. 25, Jey Uso. Let me stop right there for a minute. Let me stop right there for a minute. I'm over it. I am so over the Jey Uso thing. I'm over the yeeting. I am over it. They ruined this Royal Rumble with Jey Uso. And I like Jey Uso. I always did like Jey Uso. But this main event Jey Uso thing, I'm over it. I am done. The yeeting, going through the crowd, playing the music for 20 minutes straight. It is stupid because during that time, he's going through the crowd, yeeting, getting blown up. Brock Lesnar got eliminated. You had Brock Lesnar get eliminated, Dragunov get eliminated. You had about 3 eliminations during this entrance. And it was so dumb. It was dumb. But the cameras weren't even showing it because they're showing Jey Uso coming through the crowd, yeeting with the audience and all this here. And then they hurry up and flash back and you see Brock Lesnar on the ground. I'm like, what happened? What happened? And we come to find out, and they just said it. Thank God for Michael Cole and them. Oh, Cody Rhodes and LA Knight threw him out. Oh, we didn't see it. It's like, my God, they ruined it. They just ruined the entire match for me. And at this point, I was kind of checked out. I'm gonna be honest. I was checked out. I was so mad at that point. At 26, you had the OTC Roman Reigns enter. 27, Jacob Fatu. 28, Penta. 29, Randy Orton. And at 30, fresh off of killing AJ Styles' career, you had Gunther. Now, like I said, I was blown up after that, out after the Jey Uso deal. Just like, why? Just why? Look, I get it. The song is exciting. It hypes up the crowd. I get it. But you do it every single event. I don't care if it's Raw. I don't care if it's a PLE. I don't care if it's a house show. We got to go through this long yeeting fest for 10 minutes, it feels like. It's like, my God, just cut it off. And then when he gets in the ring, we got to run it back because the audience want to run it back. I know why WWE is pushing him. I get it. I know how professional wrestling works. He pushes merch. He is exciting. People want to dance with him. People want to sing his song. People want to do that. I get it. He's over. I understand. But I'm over it. I'm over it. It doesn't play well on television. And it definitely didn't play well on this match. It ruined the match. Completely ruined the match. Anyways, so let's just fast forward to our final four here. You had Roman Reigns, Gunther, Randy Orton, and for God knows what reason, Logan Paul. I don't know why they feel Logan Paul is main event word. I don't get it, but whatever. Now, Logan Paul, he's awesome in the ring. I'm not taking that away. I don't like him personally, but he's awesome in the ring. I get all that, but he's not a main eventer. He's not. He is not a main eventer. Anyway, those were your final four. They got Roman Reigns threw out Logan Paul, which made it so much better. It just it saved everything for me. It got me back invested in the match. So our final three was Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, and Gunther. Gunther eliminated Randy Orton, coming down to Gunther and Roman Reigns. Now, once again, didn't know how it was gonna go. Kind of common sense told me Randy Orton, but Gunther is, how can I put this? Gunther, I can see challenging Drew McIntyre, like I was saying earlier. They will put on a banger for the world championship, for the not the world the WWE championship, the one title that he hasn't had. He's had the heavyweight championship. It will make sense for him to go after the WWE championship. So okay, I'm cool with that. Then you have Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, he's the tribal chief. He needs his crown, and so him and Drew would be a nice match. It will be a banger, but there's also that element of CM Punk. It's, with the World Heavyweight Championship. So there's some question marks there. So it kind of kept me guessing with these two. They were getting some good spots off of each other. Ultimately, Roman Reigns comes out victorious. He is your winner of the 2026 Royal Rumble, and he will be heading to WrestleMania to challenge for the title of his choosing. Which one I think? I think he's going after CM Punk. The reason I think he's going after the World Heavyweight Championship, there's still a story there with Cody and Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu, because it was Drew McIntyre who, quote unquote, eliminated Cody from this match, even though he wasn't a part of the match. And so that's still there. Now, granted, they can have their match at Elimination Chamber or something to that effect. I don't know if I'm pretty sure they have a Saturday night main event somewhere in between, but that's still there. But I really think, and plus, if Cody wins, if Cody beats Drew before WrestleMania, do we really want to see another Cody Roman WrestleMania match for the title? I don't. I'm over that too. And so I would love to see Roman versus CM Punk. But that's my thoughts. I'm pretty sure they'll probably find a way to swerve that. But who's to say that CM Punk will have the title at WrestleMania? Something can happen in between that time. It's so much time in between. It's not guaranteed no more. That's another element that they changed over the years. It used to be a couple of months. WrestleMania was in March, and so it was Elimination Chamber. Then boom, WrestleMania was right there. But now, no, you got 3 months in between, so anything can happen. But we shall see. But this was decent. It wasn't as disjointed as the women's, but at the same time, it wasn't as exciting as previous Royal Rumble matches. My prediction entries that didn't go according to plan. I think the big one is Chris Jericho. I was looking for Chris Jericho in this match. Maybe he's the hooded figure. Who knows? Who knows? But why would he attack Braun Breaker? No, he wasn't in this match. Uh, I had another. Oh, why am I blanking on it? Oh, I'm blanking on it. Ah, it wasn't important. Didn't matter. It didn't matter anyway. But yeah, this pretty much went according to plan. Like I said, it was no surprises. It was no shock and awe in any of these matches. You know, it pretty much went according to plan. And that's one of the biggest complaints I have with WWE, with the creative over the last couple of years. There's no there's no element of shock in the storylines. They are playing it safe, bro. It is so cookie cutter with Triple H right now. It is, and it's shocking. And what makes it so upsetting, Triple H is awesome with the shocks and odds, man. Go back to Black and Gold NXT. That was peak creative in pro wrestling. So him coming to the main roster, you thought you would bring some of those elements there. No, it's completely different. It's not even as. I know. I already know. But look, you can come at me all you want. But the truth is, Vince McMahon was better. Vince was better, even though it was bad. Even though he did some stupid stuff, at least he did something different every now and then. At least he would switch it up. Now, most of the time he would switch it up to something stupid, but at least he'll throw you off, keep you off guard. You know what I'm saying? Keep you interested. Not now. Not now. Triple H, bro. Come on, bro. You step it up, dog. This ain't working for me. This ain't working. I need some sense of suspense here. But oh, anywho, that was the Royal Rumble. Did you enjoy the Royal Rumble? I'm not grading them anymore. I ain't even wasting my time grading them. But like I said, I'm not mad at it. It wasn't bad. It was just safe. It was super safe. No excitement. Nothing new. It was what it was. But I want to know your thoughts. Did you enjoy the Royal Rumble? Did your early predictions come true, or did you think that Trick Williams was going to whoop that trick and shock the world, or whatever the case? Did you have a dark horse in any of these matches, or what? And this the big one. Do you think truly AJ Styles is done with wrestling? I want to know your thoughts. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are listening to Faces and Heels here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this recap and reaction to WWE's Royal Rumble Riyadh. Then y'all be cool. Anyways, y'all be cool. Take it easy, and I'll see you after the Elimination Chamber.